So it's January, it's the middle of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. For most of us, that means that the outside golf season is over, but simulator golf season, indoor golf, is alive and well. And if you've been thinking about putting a golf simulator in your house, in your garage, in your shed, wherever, you've likely thought about what launch monitor should I use in my simulator. Today on the channel, head-to-head with two of the most talked about, most used entry-level budget launch monitors. I've got a Garmin R10 and I've got the original SkyTrak set up here. We're going to put them head-to-head. I'm going to hit a couple shots and we'll see if there's any differences in the data. So stick around. Should be a fun one. I'm really excited for it. Thanks for watching. Here we go. Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to the channel. Like I said in the intro, exciting video today. We're going head-to-head with my Garmin R10 and my original SkyTrak. I got them both set up. The SkyTrak is on just the SkyTrak driving range. The Garmin R10 is hooked up to GS Pro. I'm going to hit some shots. We're going to do a head-to-head test. So we're going to do like a 50-yard shot, like a 100-yard shot, or maybe a little farther than 100. Then we'll do like a full 7-iron or something. And then, of course, we'll hit drivers. And I'm looking to see what the differences are, both in terms of, the numbers, backspin, side spin, that sort of stuff. But also I'm looking at what it feels like when you hit it. You know, when I hit a shot, you can feel if it's going to be a push or a pull or a hook or a slice or whatever. And I'm looking to see whether one of these two units matches up more closely with reality than the other one. I've just had the SkyTrak here for a week or two. I've only played with it a couple of times, but I've been pretty impressed with it so far. So far, it has felt to me more like real golf, where if I hit what I think is a hook, I look up and it's a hook more often than not, or at least more often than it has been with the Garmin R10. So we're going to test them head-to-head, starting off here, and then after I've done the hitting, we'll put all the data in a spreadsheet, and we'll talk about what it looked like. Okay, I'm going to hit some shots. I'm starting to warm up here in my garage. My heater's working on my legs, so I'm warming up here. But let's go. All right, guys, so a couple of notes on the test quick. Brand new Pro V1X RCT ball. That's what I'll be using for the test to try and get accurate spin readings for the R10. I'm fairly certain that the RCT doesn't matter for the SkyTrak, but for the purposes of the Garmin, accurate results, we will be using the RCT ball. I'm going to start out with some 50-yard shots. So here we go, 50-yard shot. All right, let's do one more 50-yard shot here, then we'll go with a longer shot. Okay, so we'll save the heavy analysis for later once we get the data in a spreadsheet and start to look at it. But initial impressions, the actual distances that the ball was going looked to be about the same. Or at least close enough from what I could tell. The SkyTrakers maybe a few yards farther. But the biggest difference that I saw was that, according to the SkyTrak, all these shots were pushed right, 4, 5, 6 degrees. on GS Pro, which is the R10, the shots were going what looked to be pretty straight, or maybe even a little left of the target line. So that's what we've got so far. We'll hit like a 100-yard shot and see what that looks like. All right, guys, so I've got gap wedge out right now, but I'm going to be hitting like 110, 115-yard shot. That's at least what I try and hit it outdoors. So 110 here. That one felt like a push. Interesting. Dead straight on the R10, a little push on the SkyTrak. That'll get there. That was a nice shot. Zip. Pull maybe? Pull right in the hole. Jeez. All right, one more 110 shot, then we'll go to a full swing. Oh. Interesting one there. I tend to believe the SkyTrak. I don't think that was a big tug. Okay, so that was the 110-yard shot. Nothing really stood out to me there. There was that last shot felt like the SkyTrak was closer to reality than the R10. I didn't think it was that big a pull to the left. But we're going to hit a 7-iron now, like a 180-ish shot for me, and we'll see how these two devices handle that. All right, guys. Got the green set at 180. Got a 7-iron in my hands. We'll see how many times I can hit it. Oh, that was a good start. Oh, nice shot. Felt like maybe a hook or a pull. Okay, the R10 got a pull. Actually, pretty similar ball flight for both of them. The SkyTrak got a hook. Hook and a pull. Oh, gosh. Oh, ouch. Let's see how that one does. Oh, that was about as skinny as you can get. It's cold in here, so that one off the end of the bat. Ouch. Man, how can you hit those two shots back to back? That was just pure. Go in. Go in. Go in. Oh! Oh, that was interesting. SkyTrak had that as a draw. Garmin had it as a fade. Last one with the 7-iron here. Nice to finish off with a tap-in birdie like that on the R10 anyway. I'll take that one. Okay, that was 5 shots with the 7-iron. I'm starting to warm up. Not quite warmed up, but that's okay. We're going to go driver now. So the big stick. This is the one where I've been the most disappointed, I would say, in the R10 in terms of the shape of the shot. It doesn't seem to feel like reality. So we'll see what it does here. All right, guys, this time I got the big stick out. Got the green set out to 310 on GS Pro. We'll see if we can get there. Maybe pushed it a little. Shot shape was the SkyTrak had his little draw. The Garmin has a little fade. Not quite getting around on it. One of the hardest things about playing golf here in the simulator is I'm running low on tees. I lose these tees all the time. They break in the mat, especially if they're wooden tees. I don't know why they would break more often in a mat than they would in the ground, but it seems like they do. So coming up on the channel in a couple weeks maybe, I'm going to have a review of some new simulator golf tees from K2 Golf. You might have seen them on the golf simulator forums or whatever. I'm getting a pack sent to me. Thank you very much to K2 Golf, to Kevin. But I'm excited to test them out. I don't want to keep losing my tees in here, so that's coming up on the channel next. But for now, let's get back to this. Shot number 3 with the driver. And again, with the SkyTrak, the little light on the ground, you want to tee the ball a couple inches back of the light in order to give the camera more room to see the shot. Okay, case in point here, what I was just talking about. I have no idea where my tee went, so I got to take a minute to search for it here. That was a good one. I don't know why it happens. Seems like it happens more often in the simulator. The tees just break. But man, I break them all the time in here. So I'm super pumped for the K2 Golf tees that are coming. But we'll get a video out with a review of those in the next week or two. For now though, I got to find another tee for the last shot. Okay, last driver shot. We got the green tee. Let's do it. Are you kidding? So let the record show there's 5 driver swings and 2 broken tees. So we're going to test out the K2 Golf tees next week on the channel. Stay tuned for that. If you're like me, you've just broken a ton of tees and they're scattered about your garage and you have no idea where they are, this is a great solution for you, these K2 tees. So stay tuned to the channel. Okay, guys, that was it. It was 5 shots, 50 yards, 5 shots about 110, 5 shots 7-iron, 5 shots with the driver. I hit them all relatively well, actually, surprisingly, except for that one 7-iron that I thinned and hurt my hands on. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take the data. I'm going to go inside, take the data, put in a spreadsheet, kind of compare them side by side, and try and figure out what the differences are. I got to say, the R10 on GS Pro looked good to me, felt pretty good. There were maybe a couple of shots that I looked up and thought, oh, it wasn't that big a pull, or something like that. But overall, pretty impressive. I think that the R10 on its own is a nice unit. I'm not a huge fan of the Garmin driving range on the Garmin app. I'm not a huge fan of the E6 driving range. It's okay. It's better than the Garmin one, certainly. But I think if you're pairing the R10 with either Awesome Golf or with GS Pro, it seems like the algorithms for those two programs really do a good job of kind of smoothing out the rough edges of the R10. Initial impressions, like I said, I thought the SkyTrak Red, a little higher ball speed. The algorithm in the SkyTrak range made the ball go a little farther. I think that might get, like I said, smoothed out when the SkyTrak is connected to GS Pro with the GS Pro algorithm versus the SkyTrak range algorithm. But we've hit our shots now. it's time to take a look at the numbers. I'm going to get out of my cold garage here. I'm going to stop hitting shots. I'm going to shut down the computers, and we'll open up Excel and see what it says. All right, guys, we're back inside. I've got the data up in a spreadsheet, and I've done my best to slice and dice this in ways that seem reasonable and actionable and interesting. And it's sort of tougher to do it here with the SkyTrak versus the Garmin R10 than it was with my R10 versus the GC3, because with the GC3, we sort of assumed that was right and true and the source of truth that we were able to compare the Garmin R10 to. In this case, you know, I'm not sure that I fully trust either unit at this point. So it's less of a situation where we're looking to see if the R10 is right compared to the SkyTrak or vice versa, and more of a situation where we're trying to understand kind of the trends and the differences between these two. So I'm showing you the spreadsheet here. I've got all the raw shot data from the Garmin R10 and from the SkyTrak, and then I do some stuff where I try and kind of package it together in ways that are interesting. This spreadsheet will be linked in the description of the video. You're welcome to look in it and play around in it and try and find your own insights. But here's some of the stuff that I found, and it's in this data side-by-side tab. So you can see here kind of anywhere where there was a big-ish difference between the two units, I highlighted it in red. So you can see there's quite a few instances here where the side spin numbers are pretty off. They're fairly inconsistent. But I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here, past all of the individual shot data. And what I've got down here is a little table that looks at the differences between the SkyTrak and the Garmin. So the way to read this is the first shot, the ball speed for the SkyTrak was 7.9% higher than the ball speed that the R10 read. So I don't think really any of this is interesting when you look at a shot-by-shot basis. But if you look at the entirety of all 21 shots, some trends start to emerge. And the first trend is with distance and speed. So you can see here 100% of the time the SkyTrak read a higher ball speed than the Garmin. Now it wasn't that much, right? It's at median, it's a 3.3% ball speed difference. Really not a significant difference from a absolute ball speed value perspective, but I think it's good to know, and this proves to me that the SkyTrak does read a little higher than the Garmin. Now, is the Garmin right? Is the SkyTrak right? I'm not sure, but I know that it is true, at least from this test, that the SkyTrak read a little faster than the Garmin, and therefore you can see it's not quite as consistent. There were a couple of times where the Garmin read a farther shot than the SkyTrak did, but 19 out of the 21 times the SkyTrak carry distance was farther than the Garmin. So I think we can definitively say SkyTrak reads a little faster ball speed, therefore the output, the carry distance, is a little longer. A couple other things that I thought were interesting. It seemed to me like backspin was consistently one way or the other, so I wanted to look into it. It wasn't as consistent as I thought, and frankly, at median, the difference between the Garmin and the SkyTrak was just under 1%. So I think this should, if you're a Garmin R10 owner user, this should give you some pretty good confidence that especially if you're using the RCT balls, which is what we were using in this test, the Garmin is really spot on total backspin values compared to the SkyTrak. Now, it looks like in about 2/3 of the cases, so in 14 of the 21 shots, the SkyTrak did read a little higher ball speed than the Garmin, but there's hardly anything in it. So I would say pretty good results for the Garmin and the SkyTrak to be kind of matching up that way. We did do similar tests with the R10 versus the GC3, and the R10 was a little farther off of the GC3, especially on the driver. So take that for what it's worth. I'm not sure that I have enough information to be able to determine whether these are right or wrong, but they're at least close to each other, which I think is encouraging. Another pretty consistent result was a vertical launch angle. And this one I didn't really notice when I was hitting. It sort of came to me as I was reviewing the data, the shot data afterwards. But for 19 of the 21 shots, the SkyTrak read a lower launch than the Garmin did. It wasn't by much. It looks like at median we're talking 4, almost 5% lower launch, which isn't that much. When we're talking in like full degrees, 13 degree launch angle, 12 degree launch angle, 5% of that is half a degree or something. So we're pretty close, but it was a consistent result that I thought I wanted to bring out here when we're looking at the data. The last one that was noticeable to me as I was hitting, maybe especially noticeable because it happened more often with the full swings, and that was that the side spin was consistently, the SkyTrak read consistently more draw spin than the Garmin R10 did on these full swings. You can see starting in at swing 12, which was my first 7-iron swing, the SkyTrak 10 out of 10 times for all 5 7-iron swings, all 5 driver swings, read more left spin, which is more hook spin, than the R10 did. And I can say that this is something that I experienced when I was playing GS Pro or playing E6 with the Garmin R10. It felt like, I don't know if it's fair to say that it had a fade bias, but it felt like shots that I wouldn't have expected to be fades based on the way they felt were fading in GS Pro and in E6. Again, I'm not claiming that the SkyTrak is the definitive source of proof here. It's possible SkyTrak reads too much hook spin, even if the Garmin does read too much fade spin. But I do think, at least for my game, on those longer shots, and especially on the driver shots, I've played golf with myself my whole life. I know what my driver does in the air, and I know what my irons do in the air. And most of the time they're drawing. With irons, maybe I tend to leak a fade a little bit, but with a driver, it's usually a draw. And it never really sat correct to me that the R10 read fades as often as it did with my driver. So I do think I can say that the SkyTrak reading side spin on the higher ball speed shots, I think does a more true to life way of reading the side spin than the R10 does. Otherwise, though, these differences aren't that stark, to be honest with you. I think that if you own an R10 and you have GS Pro or Awesome Golf, the way those algorithms are written to kind of smooth out some of the raw data from the R10 is really impressive and really powerful. I think that as long as you have the R10 set up properly and using RCT balls, you're not missing much by not having a SkyTrak. That said, I did recently sell my Garmin R10. I've moved on exclusively to the SkyTrak. I think mostly because of this side spin situation. The
I think I've played 3 or 4 rounds at this point of my Pro Tour rounds in GS Pro, and there have been less shots where I hit it and it does something that looks weird, and I think, no way, and I'm way off the planet when I should be in the fairway or something, and it screws up my hole. That still happens. Occasionally, I'm still working through some SkyTrak setup issues and whether I should have the faux metal jacket on or off. Sometimes that causes some misreads. But overall, I've been impressed enough with the SkyTrak that I've decided to move on to it from the R10. But like I said, if you've got an R10, if you've got the RCT balls, if you've got it, your setup kind of locked in. I do think the SkyTrak is an improvement, but I don't think it's one that is night and day. Now, would something like Unicore iMini or iMini Lite, the new iMini Lite that came out at the PGA show, or obviously like Bushnell Launch Pro, GC3, GC Quad, like those probably are quantum leaps in terms of accuracy from the R10. If you're thinking about upgrading, I think, and you have the cash to do so, I think those would be quality improvements. I do think the SkyTrak is an improvement. Like I said, there's a reason I bought it. There's a reason that I've moved on to it. But I don't know that I certainly wouldn't spend $2,000 for it. I think you can get them used now for $1,000 or $850 or something from Second Swing, and occasionally lower on Facebook and on the Discord. So I would say if you've got an R10 and you're interested in a camera-based unit and your budget is pretty low, like mine, keep your eyes peeled for sales at Second Swing and on the Discord. But yeah, that's kind of what I found after diving into the data. Like I said, the spreadsheet is going to be below in the comments. Feel free to take a look. If you are able to look at this data and you find something in the data that I didn't see, please leave a comment. I'm really interested to see if this if there's any other insights that anyone can glean from this data set that I put together. I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. As always, smash that like button. Give me a subscribe if you're enjoying the content. I do have a few more videos in the hopper. It's one of my goals this year, one of my personal goals, to get 20 videos out on YouTube this year, which is a couple a month. So I'm working towards that. Another one of my goals is 500 subscribers. So obviously that's going to be incumbent upon me putting out videos and putting out quality content. But I am shooting for 500 subscribers. I think I've got like 135 right now or something. So if you're enjoying content, I would love a subscribe and a follow. We've got, like I said, it's my goal to make 20 videos this year. So I'm going to have videos coming out every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks. Coming up next on the channel, I was able to do a comparison between the SkyTrak and a GC Quad. I think the only other one of those that I've seen on YouTube so far is one that TXG did. So obviously my setup is not quite TXG's, but I did have access to a GC Quad for a couple hours, and I took my SkyTrak to compare to it. So that video is going to be coming out. I'm super excited to do kind of a similar thing to what this video is, hit a bunch of shots, look at the data, compare the differences, that sort of thing. Another video that I am really excited about putting out, I teased it in this video a couple of times, is the K2 Golf Simulator tees review. Like I said earlier in the video, Kevin from K2 Golf sent me a sample pack of a bunch of tees and the sandbags and the bungee tethers to try out and give my honest opinion on my channel. So that video is going to be coming up next. I'm really excited about it, and just a little teaser preview. In this video, I broke 2 tees on 5 driver swings. On my very next round, I took like 3 more driver swings and broke 2 more tees, which is crazy. So this is a solution that I've been looking for a while now, ever since I got my simulator, and I have been super impressed with these K2 golf tees. So like I said, full review coming shortly, but I'm impressed with these. I'm excited about them. I know Joe Legowski did a preview or a review of these tees on his channel as well, which is great. Check it out. But my video is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks here. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully this is useful information. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Like I said, give me a like, give me a sub if you're enjoying the content. Leave a comment if you have questions. I try to answer all of them. All right, so I think that does it for this video. Thank you again. We will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.